Yeah, we're going back down there. You could have been down there waiting on us. All right. Yeah, very proud of our team, the way we competed against Virginia in the game. I thought Virginia came in here offensively. They did a great job protecting the pass. I thought our defense did a tremendous job affecting the quarterback. They had given up 8 sacks all year. We got 4, and I think we hit the quarterback 21 times during the game. So, I mean, we had a huge effect on him. I thought the defense converged and played with great leverage, tackled very well, played the run extremely well. I thought Mario Edwards was really outstanding. He and Eddie Goldman, I thought Terrence Smith played really well. The corners played well. We're in position to make a couple plays on those balls. Just didn't get to play maybe. We're in great position, but thought Jalen. I thought defense really stepped up and played a very good football game in the game. Thought offense we took advantage of a lot of opportunities. Thought we ran the ball better. We were inches, shoelaces from about 3 runs. One of them about 70, one of them about 60, and one. Guys blocked well, and those are coming. I think we're making a lot of progress in that area. And I think still in the passing game, we had to really throw it at the end. I thought we did a great job. And moved the ball well. I thought they were a very good defensive front seven defensive team. Thought their 2 safeties tackled extremely well, and they had a good group of guys. But saying all that, Virginia was a game. We got by it, moved on. Special teams, we did a great job. That Casey Beatty's getting better and better each week. I think he's helping us really control field position. I think our coverage teams are doing a really nice job. Had one kickoff that got out. We had a guy tripping when he was going down in the lane to come over, and he tripped, and they caught feet together and opened up a little lane. They got a return, but other than that, I thought we did a good job there. But listening to all that, getting ready to go play Miami. It's one of the reasons you come to Florida State to play in this great rivalry, one of the most traditional rivalries in all of college football. A lot of great tradition, a lot of great history. They're playing very well right now, probably playing the best ball they've played. And by far, defensively, they're outstanding. I believe they're in the top 10 or 12 or somewhere up there really high in defense. Very multiple in their fronts, 3-4, 4-3. A lot of nickel packages, can run in the secondary. Experience up front. Backers, Perryman's as good a backer as there is anywhere, and their other backers run well. Offensively, Duke's as good a tailback as there is anywhere. They're explosive on the edges with great playmakers, Dorsett, Coley, and Herb Waters, and just a number of guys out wide. Tight end's a very good player. Quarterback's really grown since the beginning of the year, and they're big up front. So and they kick the ball. They cover kicks and have great return guys there because they're very athletic. So Al's done a great job with those guys. They're playing well, and looking forward to going down there and playing them. And like I say, that's why you come to Florida State, to be able to play in these kind of games. So, questions?
Will there be an expanded role for Bobo Wilson and Dalvin Cook? They're from Miami.
We'll keep the regular game plan, whatever their role is, which has been pretty expanded. They're involved in it pretty much the way it goes anyway. So, those guys have the same role and be a huge part of what we do.
How is Dalvin?
We're still waiting to evaluate. We'll probably hold him today, give him a day's rest, and see how he heals and goes. He's got a hip and a bone, muscle in there, whatever, and just got stretched a little bit, like in a hip flexor type thing. But he's had one of those early in the year, and he recovered very well. So those are just a wait and see type thing, and we'll have to wait a day or so to really find out. But the good thing, hopefully got Pender back a lot healthier. That's one of the reasons. Pender was probably about 80% going in that 75 or 80. We could have played him, but we felt good where we were with Carlos. And once Dalvin got hurt, we say, hey, let's just rest him right here. Let's get a good week of practice, so he'll be full go next week, not knowing what was going to happen with Dalvin, and get Ryan Green in there. So we'll be in good shape.
What does this game mean for those guys from the state, playing against the guys that they played with?
Oh, a lot of personal pride. And for the past players and the present players, and it's one you'll have to live for the rest of your life because of you're going to run into these guys on the street or in your neighborhoods, and we have so many guys from South Florida, or the interaction of the two schools so much. And there's a great sense of pride, and I think there's a great, not only it's unbelievable competitive, but I do think there's a very good sense of respect through both schools, through the players and how they compete against each other. And I think it's one of the things that makes this rivalry very unique.
Last year Miami was undefeated, but at least Las Vegas had them as big underdogs. This year they have 3 losses, but a much closer.
Well, they're playing at home also.
There.
I think they're better. I think they are better. I think they're playing right now. They seem to be playing better, but last year you're undefeated. Now that's still pretty significant. And we were, like I said, we were so dominant last year, and we were playing at home. I don't know what's the.
I think it's 21 points.
Last year?
Yeah.
Wow. Somebody was crazy. I wouldn't have. I remember watching film trying to win by 1. They're trying to get me to win by 21. Huh?
But they look like a better team this year.
Yeah, I think they're doing. In the system longer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Coley's down there in the offensive system another year. The guys are older. Defensively, they're in the system a lot more. Those guys are more experienced. They seem to be playing very good football.
Speaking of,
I thought they were last year at this time. I really did.
Speaking of Coley, it seemed like that first game with the freshman quarterback, they were a little conservative. What have you seen as far as the offensive transformation over these last, I guess?
I still think they're a run first team. I still think they're going to run the ball with Duke and be physical, but they create their play actions off of it, and they've definitely loosened the reins on him because they got great playmakers outside and the tight end. So I mean, you see him really grow. That guy makes a lot of blitz packages. When you get to him, he's able to absorb the blitz, give ground, make some unbelievable throws. That kid, I think he's going to be a really, really good player, and I think he's playing good right now.
Jimbo, they've cut down on a lot of the big plays they were giving up before Miami's defense. What are they doing?
I think they're keeping an umbrella. I think they're keeping guys in center field. Everybody says, you know, that free safety's way back here in the middle of the field. What's he doing? It ain't what he's doing, it's what he's stopping. You know what I mean? There's two added. They keep great leverage on the ball. They're keeping guys good depth, but at the same time, they're playing a lot of man coverage. But they're keeping that good center fielder back there. You know, it eliminates a lot of posts and overthrows. And I think they're fast. They can run on defense, so when guys get in space, they're able to run them down and catch them. Typical Miami team.
Was that an adjustment they made from the beginning?
No, I think it's just knowledge. Guys get more experience, and guys are playing better.
A lot of Miami fans were complaining about their DBs playing off, and it was the same thing with Oklahoma last week. I mean, what are the advantages of letting your DBs play off and giving them maybe those two?
Tell you what, you get on that film, they play up tight and play a lot of man coverage from what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, listen, if like Coach Bowden used to say, if you listen to the fans, you end up sitting with them. Okay, just coach and do what you do. I mean, you got somebody will see something once or twice and think it's there all the time. You know what I'm saying? When I study film on them, they're up there playing a lot of tight coverages, mixing coverages, very multiple in their back end things, and doing a great job. And I think they're very talented back there.
How impressive is it what Brad Kite is doing, considering he's a true freshman?
It is.
Wasn't there in the spring.
He's doing a really good job. And I think coming in the spring does help him.
It wasn't there.
Oh, he wasn't in the spring?
May he came in, yeah. So.
Well, I got him during the summer. They probably got some meetings and things during the summer. See, now being able to work with him, that's a whole different, you're not football drills, but they can teach a little bit. But he's done a great job for a guy to learn. It shows his learning capacity and his maturity.
Jimbo, Duke Johnson, how does he compare to some of the other running backs you've gone up?
Oh, he's as good as anybody we've played against. Because you don't realize how strong he is. Even though he's a shorter guy, doesn't mean he's like Devontae. Everybody thought Devontae, well, he's a little guy. No, Devontae was short, but he was powerful. Duke's the same way, very strong in his hips and legs, very quick body movements, very fast. And then when he gets in space, the thing that's unique, usually those little guys like that are quick, don't have that just unbelievable top-end speed. Once he gets in green grass now, you have a hard time catching him. He has a lot. As many long runs as anybody I've seen. And catches the ball out of the backfield. He's a tough competitor. You can just see the competitiveness in him when he runs and plays. He's a heck of a football player.
When he got hurt last year, did that change the complexion of their offense a little bit?
Well, he got hurt late in our game, so I never really saw it after that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to play him. It was, I think, late third quarter or something when it happened. Wasn't that when it happened in our game? So, I mean, I'm sure it did in that game, but we were already ahead a little bit, and they had to throw it. So, I never really saw him after that, the rest of that year. But I'll tell you this, losing him didn't help him.
Playing a team that runs and a team that has Duke, just talk about the importance of the way your defensive front played the other night and how they're coming along.
That's why I play with Mario and playing the run, and Eddie Goldman, our linebackers, how they're fitting on the runs now, I think is very critical. And you get your safeties down in there too, but you also then you become exposed in the back end. So I think we have to do a great job of playing the run and two-gapping things at times we have to, and then getting the extra guy. We have to keep a great mix there.
Is it more than guys just getting healthy, Jimbo? Or are the guys?
I think it's getting healthy, and I think they're getting a better knowledge of what we're doing, and they're getting experience playing. And realizing, hey, I can do this. I can do this. You're talking about a lot of guys still that hadn't really had to carry that big burden on their back. I mean, you say Reggie Northern makes tackles, but he never played in a lot of significant times last year when he was on defense. Terrence did, but he's been off and on hurt. Eddie did, but he wasn't counted on to be like Timmy was, which he's playing like. And now Mario has really grown into that role and gotten healthy and gotten his weight down playing well. Desmond, losing now I thought was a huge loss for us inside because he was playing extremely well. But then you got Derek Mitchell who come out of the blue. And now Derek's playing very solid, say out of the blue, but he'd been injured. And, you tried to count on him, but you couldn't, not because of anything he did. It was just, the perils of being a D lineman, getting banged and bruised. And then Desmond Holland's doing a good job. So I think their experience and confidence is growing.
It seemed like Jameis got hit a lot on Saturday night. Are you worried about that at all?
Got hit 8 times. That's about, how many times did he hit last year at Pitt? 9. He got hit more last. He got sacked. He got hit more Pitt 2 years ago in that game he did last. But he took some shots.
It's pretty hard too.
He did a couple good shots. He did, and that's part of it. You're going to have to stand in there, but we need to not get him hit as much and get the ball out of his hand and some of the rhythm passing games. But sometimes you got to hold it to try to make some plays down the field. But we got to block better at times too. But it's a combination, give and take, and but he'll be good.
How's his ankle?
Good. Good. he played on it, and we'll practice on it. I mean, practice on it this week. I mean, everybody's got some kind of something sore there right now. I promise you.
Tim Reynolds, you want to go ahead?
Sure, thank you. Jimbo, and this isn't just about Jameis or your kids with the biggest stats, but how was your roster collectively had to learn to deal with, or I guess maybe even embrace the fact that you guys know that you're the game that's circled on everybody's schedule, not just Miami Florida State week, but every week.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think they have grown. I think they've grown to accept that, and I think they've grown to really relish it because, I mean, it's a sign of respect. And it's where you want to be when you're a coach or a player. You want to be that program that everyone aims to shoot for and be like and try to do those things. And that's part of success. And it's like you say, people say dealing with failure is hard. Well, dealing with success is hard in the fact it's not hard. It's just the fact that you have to understand that people are coming for you, and you have to give your best effort, and you have to prepare well every week. And but that's where you want to be as a coach and as a player.
And if I could follow up, I know you spoke of Kaya a couple of minutes ago, but and I know you've just seen games, of course, but does he remind you in any way of Jameis when he was starting out in terms of arm strength or decision making or anything along those lines?
To be honest with you, I haven't studied him to that extent. I know he's playing very well, and he's a very talented guy. I know the offense he's in. I mean, I know James carries a lot of things that we do, plus some other things he does. I mean, so we have to be a very cerebral guy and be a very mental guy, and to be where he's at right now and having success, he obviously has a tremendous upside.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Jimbo, the interceptions the other night, were some of those still routes not being run?
No, what happened on the underneath route, we had two guys crossing, and the defender pushed one of the guys, and they were going to collide, so he kind of hesitated and stopped. When he did, instead of restarting again, and when Jameis was throwing the ball, the guy came off, and it wasn't, he really stopped. They were coming underneath on two crossing routes, and the defender pushed one of us, and he got real close, so he had to avoid his own guy. When he did, he stopped, so their defender stopped, threw his hands up. I mean, it was just, I hate to say it, it's ball. Sometimes, you just gotta keep fighting through it or go through it. And the other one, I know he could have thrown the ball outside, but again, I thought it was still questionable. I thought the guy got there a little bit early. But that's ball. I mean, sometimes you get a call, sometimes you don't. That's ball.
Jameis seemed pretty down on himself after the game. Said he was hurting the team. He needs to quit hurting the team. Do you have to talk with him about that?
Oh, you understand that no one is harder on Jameis than Jameis. And I think that sometimes is. I mean, I think sometimes, I don't know, I think I do that a little bit sometimes, Coach. I think as a player I was that same way. And I think when you have such pride, you want to win, and you understand what being a team is. And I understand where he comes from. But at the same time, you can't worry about that. When you are throwing the ball and making as many decisions, you're going to have some things that aren't just perfect. But what the great ones are able to do is when something like that happens, to compartmentalize it, move on, and make up the plays, which he did. I mean, and played very well. But that's something you got to be careful of, that you can be too hard on yourself, because nobody's perfect. And this is in sports is a game that will humble you very quickly. If you think you got it mastered, you don't always master it. You play it, and you live it, and you make adjustments on the run, and that's what makes sports so fun, because it's the only thing you don't know what the result's going to be. You don't ever know. But it's his personality, Corey. I mean, he just strives because he doesn't want. Jameis doesn't want anybody down. He really doesn't.
Is there a way in practice you can kind of correct those mistakes?
Yeah, some of them are mistakes. Some of them are just ball. Just keep making. Hey, play with what you see, and the other thing, don't overanalyze. See it, trust it, react, play. Sometimes you make a mistake when you see it. Oh, and you think, and they got this choice, this. You can't worry about that. You see it, trust it, know your game, and play and react, and just go. He'll be fine.
Have you ever seen him get a little, I don't know if the right term is gun shy after a couple interceptions?
Yeah, I've seen him come off and be going, I mean, what happened?
But I mean, like later on in the game, like not taking the shots that he normally takes.
Because when it's all of a sudden like he'll think about it on the sideline, but once he gets out there and as they say, the game gets live and he gets to competing, he goes right. It's too natural for him to compete. Like at the end, I said, hey, we had about 6 minutes to go on the clock. I said, we're going to get a couple. I don't want to give the ball back to him. You know what I mean? And they're going to crowd the box. They're going to bunch the box with 6 minutes to go. We can block a lot of guys. We ain't going to be able to block them all. So we're going to have to throw the football. He said, Coach, I'm a finisher. Let's go. Call what you want to call. And what we do, second play, call it off there. And he read a backside third read. Called Erman Lane coming, well, actually a fourth read. Called Erman Lane coming out the back door. We get a big play by the cover. He comes back on the throw to Rashad on the backside, which was a second read, and it was a third read on the one he threw the completion to the sideline. We had something else on him. So, I mean, when they got out there and got going and we had to keep the ball, Jameis was Jameis.
Jimbo, has he had to be, has he taken more chances of being a little bit more risky throws this year because of just, it's his second year, the games aren't as close?
I don't think it is. I think, actually, last year, you go back and look at it now, last year he made some of those throws, but some of those guys were so polished, they got open more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the reads are still taking the right places, and I think people, they adjust, and I think they've spent more time on us. I mean, people spend a lot of time in the offseason. They study what you do, study your tendencies, study success things you have, and it makes it, but, from that standpoint, no, not really.
Jimbo, defensively, early on, you weren't forcing a whole lot of turnovers. Now, for 6 straight games, you've had multiple turnover games.
I told you, quit talking about it. Just play. If you play hard, I mean, it's just, we're back to fun. We're being fundamentally, when good things happen to you, offense, defense, and special teams, I know this sounds consistent, when you play fundamentally sound. When you leverage the ball, you rally to the ball, you make good sound tackles, you step on their toes, hit on the rise so the hits have bigger impact. You know what I'm saying? And then other guys are around, you get 2 and 3 guys at the ball stripping it, or you're pressuring the quarterback, and you're affecting the guy, 21 times and sacking him 4. That's pretty good. So you're going to make things, you're going to get picks, you're going to get turnovers that way. And, I think it's just going back to not, again, trying to be result-oriented, but be process-oriented about how you play. And all of a sudden, those good things happen to you. So I think we're really, really coming on defense. I'm very pleased with the way we're playing defense. And offensive, too.
Are you getting the sense the defensive guys trying to trust each other more and not trying to make the big plays?
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, because I think, again, the pressure. Well, last year's defense did this. Last year's defense did that. I got to go get 3. No. I just got to go tackle the guy, do my job, play hard, and those things will happen. Because we're just as talented. We just think we have to go. When you start worrying about the scoreboard, and you start worrying about, I'm going to get 400 yards passing, I'm going to get 3 turnovers, I'm going to get 10 tackles, or whatever it may be. Excuse me. I don't even have my ringers on. I don't know. But from that standpoint, you can't force the game. You just got to play it fundamentally.
Seems like no matter how the game is going, the one thing you can always count on is Rashad being consistent. I mean, 13 catches and always catching the punts and everything like that. So
being very steady, being very consistent, practices that way. And actually had a tough day of practice last week. We had a practice last week. He dropped 3 balls. He did. I mean, he had 3 drops, and we're going, wow. And he was kicking himself. But when he did, it kind of got him back. He said, hey, I got to get back fundamentally and quit taking my eyes off the ball, and goes right back in there and plays. I mean, that was happening to everybody.
Is there any difference coaching in a rivalry game?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, I don't. Shouldn't be. It's a game's a game. You got to play it just like any other game. Just have great respect and enjoy doing it. Fortunate you're able to play in rivalries of such significance.
You have to though manage maybe some of the South Florida kids a little bit more because they might be a little overhyped.
I think any of your kids, I think you got to be ready to play the game on Saturday, not on Monday, Tuesday. Prepare to play it then, but get yourself, because you can't stay up and get crazy and get too emotionally. You can run yourself during the week too.
Were you able to learn anything at Auburn, LSU? Obviously, they have some pretty intense rivalries.
Oh, man, a bunch of Alabama-Auburn rivalry.
I've heard of it before.
Yeah, I played that one. The Auburn-Georgia. That was the oldest rivalry in the South. I mean, although we played a lot. LSU was LSU-Alabama, LSU-Auburn. At that time, those two were always big rivalries. Arkansas for LSU is a big one. And you don't believe Ole Miss LSU. For the old boosters, that was their most traditional rivalry. LSU and Ole Miss is each other. Goes back to Billy Cannon Halloween Day. Remember? The punt. I mean, that was the old rivalry in the LSU. See, everybody talk. You know what everybody forgets in that game? That game that he ran the punt back and LSU won. They played each other in Sugar Bowl and Ole Miss won 21-0. They had a rematch that same year.
I did not know that.
See, give you a little history. But it is, rivalry games are very. It's great to play them because it's the people care and there's significance and it's fun.
Were they paying closer attention to Nick? I know the one interception went to Nick, but
I'm sorry.
On O'Leary, were they paying closer attention to O'Leary Saturday?
We had 3 or 4 balls that we read backside to, and they did. They put 88 man coverage on him all over. They exchanged him and played some man coverage and did some things. And not that we've gone away from him. It's just some of the other. It was opening up other things.
Coach, Miami's coming off a bye. Can you describe the challenges it takes to face a team coming off with?
Well, I think generally they can heal up. They can get their bodies rested. But some, and they get more time to prepare for you. And sometimes you get more time to put in more wrinkles. But at the same time, I've been on that side of it, and you overcoach. You get too much time, so you get bored, and you start creating a bunch of things, and you put all kind of new things in, and you don't go extra. I've done it. I know. Or you know too much about the opponent. As crazy as that sounds, sometimes you do because, you get so drilled in, and if they do anything, there's some challenges, good and bad, but I think the big thing they get from it is rest. They get a mindset and they get time to really look at what you're doing.
What else was Mario doing better besides dropping some of that weight that you're talking about?
I think assignment-wise, technique, alignment is allowing him to play faster, quicker. He's reacting. I think his knowledge of the defense is so much greater now that he's not having to think and just react.
Have you guys been moving him around as much as you did last week?
Some we have. Maybe a little more last week than before, but we've moved him some.
Jimbo, you touched on it. There were a couple plays where it looked like Carlos just keeps his feet.
They just snip his heels. I mean, one of them, at first, you can't block that. It's a 75-yard touchdown. But it's not his fault. I mean, that guy dives and just, you click your heels sometimes and you stumble. And there was a zone play coming out to the right. It was about a 50-yarder. I mean, it was going. And a guy dove and just clicked the back of his heel. And then, that's the inches you fight all the time. In football, you remember that Any Given Sunday? One of the best speeches that he gave out. Remember that we fight for those inches? As crazy as that sounds, you go at the end of the game, there's 3, 4, 5, 6 inches in the game that can make a difference of 150 yards. And I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, so you don't panic, you keep playing hard in those inches, but you got to fight for those inches, that half inch, to be able to get through the hole, or make the block, or make the tip pass, or the ball goes over your fingers and make the throw. I mean, it's not, there's some, if we hit those plays, you're sitting there scoring 60 points and running for 300 yards thinking you're the best thing since Oklahoma, the 1970s, running the wishbone with Billy Sims and, David Overstreet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, from that point of it, I mean, you just got to keep playing. And it just plays were blocked extremely well, and he hit the holes right. I mean, great runs. Just, that's ball.
Coach, how much does this rivalry mean on the recruiting trail?
Nothing. No. What are you looking up for? You think I was serious? No, it means a lot. I mean, a lot of kids, it matters to them, and I think it's a game that they all want to play in. I think it's significant, and I think they see where each program's going and where they want to be, and to have a chance to play for a championship or be significant in the national title contention and playing these. I mean, I think it does matter. It really does.
It's important that you guys are hooked in with Miami and the Coastal, that you do play them every year, unlike a Georgia Tech, and that helps in recruiting just because you have a presence every year down there.
I think it does, but I think we'd still be able to recruit if you didn't. I think because of Florida State's established itself over such a long dominance now. But I think it doesn't hurt, that's for sure. It's great for those guys to be able to come home and play.
Roberto's confidence still sky high. He's had a few kickoffs and a few.
Yeah, he just tried to get cute on one of his kickoffs. He's placing it dead in the corner instead on the numbers. He hasn't missed hit it. The rest of them went out of the end zone. So.
You ever seen a ball hit the top of the goalpost like that?
I did one at a time. Yeah. See, that's what I say. The goalposts aren't high enough. The way kids kick the ball today, I think it's very hard. I say it before. It's very hard for those guys to call the field goals. You know what I mean? I think they need to be raised, or like I said, that laser or something that goes up to help. Because I mean, you're talking about significant games of a game being changed, won or lost of it, and an official is really just an eye test, and you know how deceiving your head's looking this way or looking this way, the angle it can be. I mean, and I think they need to be high, because these kids, think about the way these guys kick the ball now. Talk about how fast they are and how high they jump and how far they throw it. Think about how high these guys kick it. It wasn't like this. And you used to hit it. I mean, think about the records of being 64, 65. Remember Irk Slavin, Steve Little, Tony Franklin, all 64, 67, hit 67-yard field goals. But they had 2-inch teeth. These guys were hitting 64, 65 field goals off the ground and kicking off 5 yards back out of the end zone. I mean, how high and how far these guys are kicking footballs today, I think it's a big thing that, can be addressed. I think it needs to be higher. I really do.
Jimbo, I don't know. The defense, you mentioned played really well. The 3 touchdowns they gave up all came after turnovers.
They did. Set and change. And we're in position to make plays.
Right.
We weren't out of position. Just that's it. Didn't make plays on the ball as well as we needed to.
Right.
And that's the thing we'll work on and try to get better at. But they were in great position to make plays. I mean, you got to start there. And those guys have great ball skills. You know what I mean? Just one guy reached over and made a tremendous catch. One guy was a back shoulder, and one he went to look for the head here and tripped through his hands and missed it. Misjudged it. But that's.
I was going to say, because going back to the Louisville game, I think the last 6 turnovers you guys have had, they've all resulted in touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
For the other
we got to work better on sudden change. But we're doing a good job on our end when we're getting them that way. So, I mean, that's something you work on. You talk about all the time. We weren't out of position, which is the first thing. Now you just got to make a play on the ball. But it goes back to momentum. I mean, it's amazing, guys. I say that when you get momentum on your side, how momentum gives you confidence. All of a sudden, you do something you don't normally do. And on defense or offense, when that happens to you, you got to be able to change it with consistent play.
Do you feel like those blitzes are starting to work better now? It seems like you guys are getting all the.
I think timings are, we're changing them up, we're mixing, and I think they're getting better and better at it. Disguising better.
Terrence has been a factor there.
Yeah, he has, because Terrence is athletic now. He can get in there. And PJ had some significant blitzes in that game the other night.
Jimbo, it seems like here we are, another week, another report from TMZ that just seems fishy as it is. You got to be tired of this stuff by now.
Listen, how many reports we get on guys all the time? We send it to the proper channels, they handle it, and we move on. I mean, you get on, when I was at LSU, when I was at Auburn, you hear things and people send things in all the time. You send it to the proper channels, they handle it, and you move on.
Has the incident really reached out, or have you guys done anything?
I just send it to the proper channels and let them go.
So you guys have at least looked into it then?
I send them to the proper channels and they move on.
Do you know if there's an investigation or no?
I send them to the proper channels and they move on.
How important would a fast start for your team be down in Miami this week?
I think it'd be good anytime you're on the road. I think it's important to get out of the blocks that way, and hopefully we will. But if we don't, we'll play our game. And I'm not trying to change. Listen, we're who we are, and if we have started fast in game this year, we have started slower. We need to go play well. What we need to do is just play well from the first play to the last and play the game.
You've been able to get a lot of guys out of South Florida through the years. Is there one or two that got away that you?
Always are. I mean, there's so many good players down there. I mean, and I'm not going to name any insignificant, but you don't always get them all. I mean, it's such a hotbed and a great area, and I mean, there's been some significant guys over the time. I mean, it's great players down there. It's fun to recruit down there. I always recruited there when I was on, I was my home areas in Auburn, my home areas in LSU, and I've always had South Florida myself, so I know that area very well, and some great people down there, great competitors, great, it's great football.
How hard is it to develop inroads? It's one of those areas, I guess, it's just you can't go in right away. You have to take.
It's hard.
Years, more so than other places, right?
I mean, I think every area has its challenges. I mean, and I think it's like anything else. If people realize you're honest, you're trustworthy, you'll take care of the kids as far as giving them an opportunity and treat them the right way and coach them the right way and have their best interest at heart when you make decisions. I think you'll build trust over time, and I think that's what has to happen.
Is sometimes the best recruiter is the kid you get that has success here.
Oh, no
go
doubt.
back and tell the kids. And
your best recruiters, period, are your team. You're recruiting. You talk about teams that are happy, teams that are successful. You don't continually get good players year in, year out if your own kids aren't recruiting for you. And what I mean is, as coaches, you go out and recruit and you put that persona. When they come to campus and they get with your players, those kids tell them exactly what's going on. That's why you be so honest with them. I mean, coach is telling you a lie. Don't think your kids won't tell them exactly what's happening in your organization. And to me, that's why you have to be honest all the time. You may agree to disagree all the time, but you're always honest with your kids. You're upfront with your kids. You treat them the right way. And when they're right, they're right. When they're wrong, they're wrong. And you adjust and move on. And I think that's what kids want today. But they're a huge factor in your recruiting.
Was that Miami-Dade area, when you first got here and became the head coach, how much of an emphasis was placed on recruiting that area? Since you guys did it almost instantly.
We did. We're always going to be down there. We've always had, Florida State's had success in the past, and I would say with the inroads we had down there and the people we've had recruited down there, it was always significant. I mean, it's one of the best areas in America, and you can't be in your own state and you not recruit it. That's for sure. And the kids that came here have all had a lot of success and graduated from school. That's what I'm happy about.
Anything else?
Thanks, Coach. Thank y'all.
Thank you.